Hello.
Hi, audience. Sorry we're late.
Yes. Please do us a favor. Let us know you can see and hear us okay. Let us know that we are live streaming to you just fine. We did have some technical difficulties trying to start on this live stream. Apologize for the delays. How you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
Doing good. Are you excited for Super Bowl?
As always.
Nice.
Yep. So, can we get anyone to confirm that we can be seen and heard?
Yeah, let me know you can see and hear us. Just tell us in the chat. That way we know everything is working. Again, we had some technical difficulties. I think we started that like 3 or 4 times trying to get that to work, and it just was not connecting.
Okay, the code word is pineapple. Someone please text pineapple.
Yes, please put in the chat. We might have the wrong chat. We started and stopped so many times. This might be an old chat. So let me see about putting up a new chat, and maybe that is what we need.
Okay.
So I will be right back.
Someone said pineapple.
That way I'm not cutting off your head. Thank you. Sweet, we got pineapple. Yes, it's working.
All right. So, again, our apologies, audience, for the technical difficulties.
Yes.
All right. Yes, so we were talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, are you excited?
As always.
Do you know who you're going to not vote on, bet on?
As always, I'm more interested in the proposition bets than who wins the game straight up. Now, of course, my heart wants the 49ers to win. But I think betting-wise, it's going to be a toss-up. So bet your heart on that one if you wish. I make no recommendations.
Okay.
I do make a slight recommendation on the under. According to my math, there should only be like 48, 49 points scored in the game, and it's hovering around 54, 55. But I'm not saying I'm right. You know, I mean, I have asked this on the forum, like, why is the total so high? I mean, the over-under. And I've yet to get a good answer other than, well, it's the Super Bowl. There's people score more. But anyway, but I'm more of a props person.
Okay. So
I'm not really finding that much good stuff. But just before I came here, I was wandering around downtown looking at props. And here is some stuff that I just bet. I bet no 2-point conversion. I got that at William Hill for minus 270. I put that fair at minus 485. I bet will the game be tied after 0-0? And I bet the no. I got that at plus 110. I show it's fair at minus 107. And here's what I really like. First score to be a touchdown. I got that at minus 170. I put that fair at minus 212. First San Francisco score to be a touchdown. I got that at minus 160. I show that fair at minus 196. And the last score to be a touchdown, I also got that at minus 170. I show that fair at minus 234. And do you mind if I go check something real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
So while he's going and checking something, I'm going to address some of what you guys are saying here on the chat. Mystic Child, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you for your kind words. And yes, we were having some trouble again with the live stream getting it started, which is why it took a while, so apologies again for that. But Craps Strategies Live was saying, did the wizard just breakdance? Oh my God, LOL, that was so awesome. You were breakdancing.
Well, while you were fixing the chat window, I was doing this.
I totally missed that. Oh my God, that's awesome.
So thanks for noticing. I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't sure if I was even being seen.
Yeah, again, we tried it like 3 or 4 times before that to get it working. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 more. I always bet the no safety. I just got that at minus 800 at the Golden Nugget, and I got I always bet no overtime. I got that at minus 1100. And let me tell you what I put those fair at. I put the no safety fair at minus 1548 and the no overtime fair at minus 1614. And a lot of those lines this year are not looking too attractive, but like I said, the Golden Nugget is the best I've seen so far at minus 800 and minus 1100.
Okay.
So there are some prop bets for you. Not a whole lot this year. Most years I love to bet the under on punts, but this year I'm not finding much value in it. And there's a whole bunch of stuff I'm not finding value in. I mean, look at all these pages of props that I've analyzed, and I'm hardly with all these. I'm either not finding them at all, or I'm finding neither side to be good. So it's not going to be. I'm not going to have a huge outlay on the Super Bowl this year.
But so normally, how it normally goes every year, don't you write an article about the Super Bowl and what prop bets you take and the numbers? Are you going to write an article about that?
I don't think so. I just don't feel that there's so few of them, and I don't feel that these advantages are that huge.
Would you write on the lack thereof? Just saying, like, this is a trend that's happening or something like that?
But then, I already posted some prop bets from the station casinos and the Boyd casinos.
Where can people find that?
On Wizard of Odds. Okay. And so I should probably add some more material to that page. So I think I will add what I just said to that page. So look for that on Wizard of Odds if you missed what I just said.
Okay. And do you post that stuff on social media, or where can they find it when they go to your website?
Look under What's New.
Okay.
And there should be something about Super Bowl 54.
Okay, sounds good. And by the way, for the people who are watching, would love to know, who do you think is going to win for Super Bowl? Who do you want to win? Let us know what you think.
Do you have a preference?
Not watching it. That is my preference. I'm not a sports person. I would rather be playing sports than watching sports, and I can't play sports like to save my life, so that's about where I'm at with sports. So.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm not that big on watching sports either. It's mostly for lack of time. I mean, I enjoy watching tennis. But, yeah, there's just so much to do. I don't have the time. And this year, I think the Super Bowl will be the only football game I watched.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I'm just not betting that much anymore.
You always watch football.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Even in the...
Okay, you always bet on football.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
Yeah, but even this year I didn't bet on it that much. It's it's between not finding the values that I used to and just for lack of time.
So here's a question. For 2019, what did you find yourself betting on the most or playing the most as far as casino games go?
Sadly, I didn't really bet that much in 2019. Like, I don't bet video poker anymore because of the change in the tax law, essentially making jackpots taxable for me. And, I'll dink around little stuff here and there, but yeah, nothing big. It's a little sad considering I'm supposed to be an authority on gambling, but I think that if you aren't finding any bets where you perceive an advantage, you shouldn't be gambling big. You shouldn't be gambling at all or just in moderation.
Have there been any games that have caught your eye at, say, G2E or Cutting Edge, where they're not on the casino floor, you can't find them in a casino, but they still caught your eye and you're hoping maybe that they will be?
Nothing comes to mind. I'm really difficult to please with new casino games.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. You got high standards.
Yeah, but, I have been helping people invent casino games for 23 years now, and I know just how tough of a business it is, and you need a truly outstanding game to even have a shot.
Yeah, and not just have an outstanding game. You have to do everything involved with it. It's like having a business. You have to do the marketing. You have to do the math. There's so much involved with it. And
they can hire you to help with the marketing, if I may put in a plug.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, but I have a lot to discuss today. Are there any comments about the Super Bowl?
So, comments on the Super Bowl. We got a question. Who do you predict will win MVP? Or which bet looks best? And that's by Craps Strategies Live.
I have no opinion on betting who's going to win. You could bet your follow your heart on that one. Mm-hmm. But as I was just saying on these prop picks, I just mentioned them. But my favorite is first score to be a touchdown and last score to be a touchdown. But try to get minus 170. Don't lay much more than that. And I just got minus 170 at the Golden Nugget, so it proves that it exists out there. Yep. And I didn't just see it off a prop sheet. I actually have tickets on Heather's desk that prove it. So that's why I'm a little out of breath, because I really rushed over to get here.
So what's the average then? If that's a rarity, then what is the average that you're seeing?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
You said the Golden Nugget, it's a rarity when you see that. So what's the normal?
I'm still not sure I understand the question.
Okay, never mind.
Okay,
so back to this. So in here, Mystical Child. I said Mystic Child. I should have said Mystical Child. If I don't butcher names, I'm one of the pod people. Run. Let's see here. So one of the questions is from Eric. And he says, what do you think about buying NFL picks from Sharp Football?
I don't know anything about that website or resource, but as a rule of thumb, I'm really against paying for picks. I think that the vast majority of people that sell picks don't know what they're doing and are just in it to take your money. Mm-hmm. And that, for all I know, they could be flipping a coin about who they're recommending. Yeah. And I think that they play all kind of tricks, like lying about their record and things like that. But I'm not going to say that every tout is bad, but just the vast majority.
Yeah.
Any comment?
Oh, I completely agree with you.
Thank
100%.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just a occupation I don't have much respect for. And furthermore, if there was someone who could beat handicapping, beating the odds consistently, they wouldn't need to sell their picks. They could just bet themselves and make plenty of money.
Yeah, and the same goes for any scam that you see out there. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, here's dice control, for example. Learn dice control and win a lot of money and just pay us to teach you. Well, if you were so good, you wouldn't be doing this class.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's one person, Rufus Peabody, and he sells picks on his, I don't even remember his website, but it's not like I pay for them or follow them, but this guy is a super genius, and I would trust what he does. But I'm not giving an official endorsement. It's just that I respect the guy.
If someone wanted to go that route, are there ways that they can maybe CYA? Can they vet the guy? Can they see if he's had past, how his past experience or his past
I'm sure you could Google his name, and he probably had lots of shills saying that he's great and how much money he's made them. But there are probably other forums that have warned people, I paid for this guy's picks and they were awful. Well, that's about all I can recommend. There's no agency that regulates these people. So anyway, I have a lot to talk about today, so we don't need to be desperate for questions, but let's keep an eye on them anyway. Okay,
so what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so we already talked about the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's a story I keep forgetting to mention. I want to give a shout-out praise to the Rampart Casino, because I walked in there recently with a winning Super Bowl ticket from the last Super Bowl.
Wow.
And it had been expired for 4 months, and I was expecting them to say, you have to mail it in, but at best. But so I go in there, and I present the ticket, and the writer gave it to a manager, and she walked over to a computer, and she was typing something, and then she stamped the ticket, and I got paid immediately.
Wow.
I didn't have to do any begging, and it got paid immediately. I have never seen that happen before. So all due praise to the Rampart for honoring an expired ticket and honoring it on the spot.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Most places will at least say you have to mail it in because it has to go through accounting or something. Mm-hmm. And then some places won't honor it at all. So, So again, praise to the Rampart.
Sweet.
Okay, let's give the audience a chance. Any good questions?
So we have another question from Craps Strategies Live, and he says, will you tell us the name only of a newer slot that's potentially susceptible to AP, but not say anything specific, thus not giving away too much for slots for APs or vice versa?
Okay, I'll only mention the games that I've talked about before. Excuse me.
No problem. Not gonna die on me, right?
I hope not.
Oh, good. Don't want to have to call, like, paramedics or anything.
If I die, you can have the pick of my unicycles.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, that was probably my fault.
I just knocked that over. No, that was my fault.
Okay, I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
Oh, let's see. So, Craps Strategies asked the question, will you tell us the name?
Oh, yeah, the slot machines. So this is no secret because I already write about these games on my website, but I explain how you can beat Ocean Magic. No, wait, Golden Egypt, Ocean Magic, and Harley Davidson.
Okay.
So these are all vulturable games, meaning if the last player left it in a high state, like with lots of bubbles on the screen or coins or whatever, you can swoop in and have an advantage until it goes negative and then you leave. These plays are fairly well known among slot vultures, so don't shoot the messenger. And I won't be mentioning any others at this time.
Okay, cool.
So,
what do we have down here?
but let me know in the comments, would you like me to write more about advantage slots or to keep my mouth shut? We'll see what the audience says.
Okay.
Okay, meanwhile, let me go on to another praise, this time for the El Cortez, and stop me if I told the story before.
Okay.
Okay, so a friend of mine was playing video poker at the El Cortez and left a machine with credits on it. Did I tell the story before?
You did tell the story before, and we actually had an argument about this.
Okay, so I don't need to tell that story again.
It was the one where is it stealing if you have credits in the machine and someone walks up and they take it? Is that stealing? And then we were both on opposite sides about that.
I still say it is.
Oh, and I'm still where I'm at too. Like, I completely agree. It's not stealing. They forfeit it. If you walk up and there's money in there and there's nobody around, it's all yours. You could take it, and no one should have a problem.
Well, we are going to have to agree to disagree on that,
That's
but
cool.
we still have to do our experiment.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We haven't done that yet.
I know. I keep forgetting, and we haven't been in the casino.
I'm going
for a
in
while
a casino
together.
today, so you're welcome.
Might it be
to
Arizona
join.
Charlie's?
It is not. I am doing Link. Sorry, I always screw that up. Link and the Dragon Dance, the Chinese New Year Dragon Dance.
Okay, well there you have it. 6:00 on Heather's channel, the Chinese New Year,
Yep.
year of the rat happy dance.
Yep.
Xin Ye Kuai Le. That means Happy Chinese New Year.
Sweet.
And you can say it in Cantonese. Go ahead.
Oh no, I can't.
You just told me before we went on the air.
I was like, it's something like this. I'm gonna butcher it. Oh God, I'm so gonna butcher it. Gun fat chow hoi hey. You put me on the spot.
I think you said it better when we weren't on the air.
Probably, but I wasn't like put on the spot. Oh
Okay,
my God.
so our listeners from Hong Kong, tell us how she did.
Oh God, no, please.
Okay, so I don't need to tell the El Cortez story again. Okay, now let me go to a rant.
Okay.
So, last weekend I went to Laughlin. I stayed at the Riverside, and I wait in line to check in, and I check in okay, but I would find out later that they wrote the wrong number on the envelope they put your keys in.
Ooh.
So I go up to my room on the 22nd floor, and the elevators, might I say, are like quite far from the check-in desk. I go up there. Of course my key doesn't work because I'm trying to open the wrong door. I go back down, and the same woman I spoke to the first time, and let me add, I waited in line again, and she said, no, what I thought was a 6 was a 0 or the other way around. And to me, it was kind of vague. I mean, I thought it was a 6, but okay, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that. Go through the casino, go up again, try the new door, and it doesn't open. Go back down, back to the registration desk, stand in line again. Finally, it's my turn, and I say, the door still doesn't open to the room I was told to go to. And then the woman says, oh, maybe the battery is dead in the in the lock. I will send security up to check on it. And you go there and wait for them. So I go back to the same room as the second time. I wait over half an hour. Nobody ever shows up. Go back down, across the casino, stand in line again, and I say, security never showed up. And this time I'm speaking to someone different, and she, puts in the computer. She says, and she said, which room did you go to? I told her the number. She said, no, your room is this. And then I showed her the envelope, and I think the envelope said 2266, and my room was 2299.
Oh, gee.
And I might have this reversed, but this could be no ambiguity. She clearly wrote the wrong 2 numbers. They were basically upside down. So I go back up again for the 4th time, and this time the room is open. In fact, the door is actually open with the latch, and I think that is because security came to what was supposed to be the correct room, and somehow they never passed me in the hallway.
Okay.
So at least that happened, not that it benefited me. So I finally get in the room. I'm like furious and mad, so I take like half an hour to compose myself, and then I go back down, stand in line for a 5th time, and then I explain like the whole horror story, and then I say, for all my trouble, can you at least take off the resort fee? And they say no.
What?
They say no. And then I say, can I have the supervisor's name? And then they go to this back room, and out comes the supervisor, and I go through the whole story again, and then she like gives a perfunctory like, I'm sorry, just as if she wasn't really sorry. And then she says, and as I recall, I said, I was just asking if the resort fee can be taken off the room. And she said, no, I'll give you 2 breakfast buffets.
Oh my.
And I say, that's not enough. And then she says, I'll make it 2 anytime buffets. And I say, that's not enough. And then she just said, take it or leave it. And and I say, I'm not taking that. Let me write down your name. And then I just said, thanks, Jessica, or whatever her name is. And off I went. And then when I got home, I wrote a whole long letter to Don Laughlin explaining the situation. I have yet to get a response from the Riverside, and it's not like I'm shaking them down for a comp. I would just like to get a sincere apology. So there is my Riverside rant. Thank you for listening.
On behalf of Laughlin, I give you my sincerest apologies.
But I can't accept that because you don't represent Laughlin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I will say that I have stayed at the Riverside many times, never had any big problems before, and even this trip in the casino and the car museum had no issues at all. It's just my only issue is with the hotel.
Would you go back there?
I really have a sentimental attachment to the Riverside. When I first turned 21, I went there lots of times for my card counting expeditions, and it's the only family-owned property in Laughlin. Everything else is a big corporation now, and I think you really sense that mom and pop kind of feel to it, even though it's really big. So there is just a vibe I like about Laughlin, and I hate to break up with them over one bad incident. So, I mean, there is 24 years of good history between me and the Riverside. So I'll probably give them a second chance very reluctantly. Okay, so those were the stories I wanted to tell. Let's see if the audience has any questions or comments.
Okay, we have a lot of people commenting since the last time we looked. Let's see if we could find anything.
And feel free to, if they have any general questions, and if not, I have some from my forum, as always.
So Matt Delaney says that he has been playing around with simulations on Python, fairly new to programming. Basically, his question is, can you recommend any books, forums, or anything where I could read more or see code? Is any Wizard of Oz code available?
Sometimes I will post code in my forum at Wizard of Vegas, and Wizard of Vegas has a lot of programmers there, and a lot of them like to post their code when they solve a problem.
Oh, cool.
I sometimes do. It's not like the point of the forum is coding, but I truly welcome you to come to the Wizard of Vegas. I welcome anyone who can code. I love smart people. So, yeah, please come on and, say the Wizard invited me and ask a question. Get the ball rolling on something.
Awesome. That sounds pretty good.
Thanks.
And that's wizardofvegas.com?
Wizardofvegas.com.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Do you want another question from here? Or should
Okay,
we go to the
why don't we alternate? So I'll let you pick one.
Okay. Any casinos with good Chinese New Year chips this year?
0, because they became banned like 5 years ago.
Why?
I don't have an official explanation, but to give you some background, a lot of the casinos would issue a commemorative $8 chip for Chinese New Year, and it would always have a picture of the monkey or the cow or whatever the year was. But around 2015, suddenly they said we're not allowed to do this anymore. Gaming said no more. Wow. And I think the reason is gaming probably thinks it looks kind of gimmicky and maybe they don't look professional or something. But I totally disagree with them about that. It's a legal chip, you can bet. It has just as much validity as any other chip. And and it's good for the casinos and good for the customers, because people like me, maybe you might call them suckers, I must have like 100 of these $8 chips.
So are they worth something now?
You can see them on eBay, and they it all depends on the chip, but but I think since the ban, they've been going up in value.
What's the highest one you've seen so far?
Well, the very first casino to do this was the Las Vegas Hilton, and they didn't make very many. And I think these go for like $1,000.
Oh, wow.
But most of them probably go for, I don't know, maybe like double the amount, like 16 on eBay. Okay. Maybe someone in the audience can check. Yeah. But, I don't do it because I thought of it as a good investment. It's because I collect all kinds of stuff, as you know, and I love numbers, and so the 8 is like a special, and I collect casino chips, and I like Chinese things, and so it just struck me as a nice little like niche. Like if you collect general casino chips, it is an endless pursuit. You just can't try to get every chip from every casino in every year. You just will never finish that goal, not even come close. So I recommend, like with any like big hobby like license plates or coins, you have to find a niche and focus on that.
So what is the thing that you're collecting at the moment? Because I know you've collected a lot of those things. So what are you focusing on right now that you're collecting?
Well, as I'm sure you know, my biggest thing is license plates. Yeah. I have thousands and thousands of them.
But I thought you had almost all of them, right?
Oh, no.
No?
No. I mainly focus on California and Nevada.
Okay.
Maryland a little bit. And I like foreign license plates, but only from countries that I've been to or like a friend gave to me. Oh, and Mexico, Canada a little bit. But, I would have like no interest like in an old, say, New York plate, because except for Maryland, the East Coast doesn't interest me that much, and there's just a lot of them floating out there. And so you have to focus. Otherwise, it's a goal that you will never achieve. Okay. So yeah, there's my advice on that.
Should we go back to here? Back to.
Okay. Why don't we alternate? So that question, by the way, was from I Caramba.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. And then the next question will be, let's see. What is that? Hellmage? Okay, Hellmage. Do you know of anywhere in Las Vegas that has 9-6 jacks or better super times pay? If not, what is the best you've seen and where?
I'm not very good with questions about obscure video poker games. So, let me put in a good plug for vpfree2.com. This is, in my opinion, the best resource for where are the good games, not only in Las Vegas, but the whole country.
Okay.
And yes, people can easily complain that it gets outdated, which is a valid complaint, but there's just no other better site. So,
cool.
Yeah, I would check that.
Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so back to here. I caramba again. If it's leap year, it's a leap year. If you were born on February 29th, would you pick February 28th or March 1st as your birthday?
The way I would phrase that is which day would I celebrate my birthday, because my birthday would still be February 29th, and I would be really proud of that. But nevertheless, I wouldn't celebrate only once every 4 years. I would probably just pick whichever one was more convenient that year. Try to make it, like if one of them was on a weekend and one was not, I would probably pick the side with the weekend.
You know, if a person's birthday is on February 29th and they're getting up there in years, they can always count every 4 years and then say that's their age. So instead of being like 60, they're, 20 or something.
Oh, but I view someone's age as not how often they've had a calendar birthday, but how many times has the earth revolved around the sun since you were born? And that's going to be the same no matter what date you were born on.
True.
So, but for any birthday other than, bless you, February 29th, you don't have the coronavirus, do you?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to the strip later on, so...
Oh, well, okay, be careful.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if the the audience has a question.
Okay, sounds good. So we're going back to the chat. Next question we see is... Okay, so this one is from Craps Strategies again. Craps Strategies. I butcher everybody's names. I've gathered that you're not much of a casino game gambler, negative EV, is that correct? I'm curious which casino game you found to be the most entertaining for you personally.
Yeah, I won't play a negative EV game unless it's for research purposes or I'm with friends and like from out of town and they want to play, in which case I will be betting the minimum. So, and the game that I personally find the most fun is Pie Gow Tiles, which we've talked about many times.
Yeah. We got to go play sometime. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next question is, how do you pronounce that? I'm not even going to try.
I'm not sure. Gilles Maire.
Okay.
Maybe.
That works. You could butcher it this time. So, gazing into your crystal ball, how do you see the future of gambling in Vegas casinos a generation hence? Will it be filled with 6-5 blackjack, 000 roulette, and watered-down payouts now only found at the airport? Or will increased competition from online gambling or gaming and the proliferation of brick-and-mortar casinos in other states reverse current trends?
I think that in a generation, the odds will be a little bit worse, but not significantly. I think we're reaching close to that equilibrium point where if the casinos get stingier than they already are now, players will quit coming. Yeah. And even like with parking, some places that had parking you had to pay for have changed their minds and it's free again, like the Wynn.
Right, because they saw the backlash.
Yeah, so I think that the greed here in Vegas is starting to, there's starting to be a backlash. And so, I think that in games like roulette, we're seeing more and more 000 roulette, and I think that's going to level off. And I think the 6-5 blackjack, I think that has leveled off. So I think things will about stay the same or just get a little bit worse and then find an equilibrium and stay there.
Okay.
What's your opinion?
I agree. I think it's gotten worse. I think they are pretty greedy, and I agree with you that if they get any greedier, it's going to basically backlash or, backfire on them.
Yes.
And it's not going to be a good thing. You're already seeing that with the trend where there's no millennials in the casino. Everyone who's in the casino is like a certain age up, and anyone younger than that, you don't really see them, playing.
Yeah.
And they're not interested. They would rather be doing other things. So you sort of see a little bit of that. And they have no idea why. The casinos are like, we have no idea why the millennials aren't playing. And, well,
I think that it's more than just paying for parking and things like that. I think that now practically everyone in the country lives within like a few hours of a casino, except like Texas. And so gambling just doesn't have that same allure that it used to, like the forbidden fruit. Like, I grew up in California, and there were no casinos at the time, and I always wanted to come to Vegas, and it was so fun for a while, but then, yeah. And I think part of the fun was because it was like this forbidden fruit that you could only do in Nevada and Atlantic City at the time.
So you think people are getting desensitized
yes,
to it?
Yes.
Okay, and therefore it's not as exciting.
Right, and I think that's true with anything, and I think that's true like with marijuana. I think that people probably do it more when it's illegal.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe about the same, but I think that whether it's legal or not, the consumption will probably be about the same, so the government may as well get some revenue from it, as opposed to it all being controlled by the black market.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Next up is from, let's see. Hellmage says, a lady came back asking about her credits. I returned it. Are you saying that I was entitled to keep it? She forgot to cash out.
That's on you, Heather.
Oh, no. That's on both of us. We got to both answer it.
Right. Well, yeah. No, you're not. I say you're not entitled to keep them. They're not yours. So we've already had this argument.
Okay, so you don't want to do it again?
No.
Okay. So the next question then would be, Silver Hunter, I'm thinking of making a Super Bowl bet. In the past, you said that a safety not being made is the best bet. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes. I just said that at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
So I just got the no safety at minus 800 at the Golden Nugget, literally like half an hour before the show. And I put that fare at minus 1548. Now, I've seen other places that were worse than minus 800, like minus 1,000. Mm-hmm. That would still be a good bet, but try to shop around, and if you see minus 800, grab it.
Okay, sounds good.
So yes, I've bet the no safety, gosh, going way back to, I don't know, like 2005 when I started getting into this prop betting.
Do you, if you're ever looking for these numbers when you say shop around, do they have to physically go into the establishment to look at the numbers on the board, or can they find that information on a website or app?
That's a good question. Stay right there. Let me get something.
Oh, okay. While he's doing that, I'm going to look and see what else you guys are saying on here and see if you have any other questions we can answer. What is your favorite place to eat on Fremont Street?
I really don't have anything I'm absolutely in love with, but I like the part, like, as you go east, after you pass Neonopolis, after you pass the Strip or 5th Street, then you get into an area that's a little bit edgier, like it doesn't have the canopy, but they have some good restaurants there, and I don't remember the names of them, but there's a good Thai place, a good Mexican place, a good, I don't know, just general food place,
Vegan place.
And they're more reasonably priced. And as a rule in general in Vegas casinos, I think you get a better value if you don't eat in a casino. And I'm not saying every casino restaurant is bad, but the prices are higher. So yeah, try to get off the Strip and out of the canopied part of Fremont Street if you can.
Cool. So what's this?
Okay, so somebody was asking about shopping around for props.
Okay.
So these are the William Hill props, and look how small. I'm sure you can't see it, but the font here is really small, and it's just page after page after page of them.
But you have to actually physically go there to pick this up, right?
Okay, that's page 1. The way they number these is weird. These are every page 3. Well, there's about 10 pages of them, but William Hill kindly has them online, and I don't think it's at williamhill.com. I think I don't remember where I
Probably
found them,
their
but this is out there if you search.
Cool.
And as well as the Westgate, they post theirs, but most of them do not. So you have two choices. You can actually get a prop sheet, and they're all often outdated.
Okay.
Like I wish you could see this, but like I circled so many of these props because they had good lines, and I get up to the counter, and all these lines had moved. Except
man.
That's
got to be annoying.
It's really frustrating, but it happens every year at every sports book. And you really envy the person who got these virgin lines first because, I like William Hill, but whoever handicaps their props does an awful job, which is good for the players because at least somebody's getting that good value.
Okay.
And at the Circa, that's just the Golden Gate and the D. They had a bunch of props, and I knew because on their board they listed a bunch, but they only had a small sheet. So I asked, if they had anything in writing. Like sometimes they keep them under the desk because they're so big. And she just pressed some button and a bunch of them came out of the printer, where the tickets are normally printed from. So kudos to the Golden Gate for doing that for me. Not many casinos would do that. And another thing is how every sports book has that board of all the lines.
Yep.
But there are so many prop bets that they can't put them all up at the same time. So they cycle them.
Right.
And they will show a handful for 20 seconds and then show some other ones. Mm-hmm. So if you want to wait for a particular prop, you could be waiting there for 5 minutes for the whole rotation.
Right.
And lots of times, after the screen changes, bam, there's a whole bunch of new props and you want to study them, but the 20 seconds isn't enough time to take it all in.
And you can't take pictures. You would get kicked out if you took a picture. It is not, what is that? It's not legal, I think he said? He said it's not legal to take a picture in a sports book.
I don't deny that, but I wouldn't have any compunction to.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would get kicked out. They would just...
No, you would get kicked out. I got kicked out.
For doing what?
For taking a picture at sportsbook.
How many did you take?
Oh, I just took one. I was standing there and I took one picture and security came up to me and I think he said it's illegal. I can't remember. But he's like, yeah, I think he said it's illegal and you can't do it. And they kicked me out.
Elaborate on kicking you out.
I had to leave.
What did they say and how did they enforce it?
I don't remember. It was a while ago.
But did they walk you to the door?
No. Oh, well, yeah, he did. He what do you call it? Followed me to make sure that I was going where I was supposed to be going, and then they made sure I left.
Really?
Yep.
And were you nice to them when they asked you when they said it was illegal, or?
As nice as I could be.
Okay.
What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean I can't take a picture?
Well, I have taken pictures in sports books quite a few times, and if you're discreet about it, the chances are pretty low anyone will catch you.
Yeah.
And even if they do, your experience notwithstanding, I think they would just ask you to stop. And furthermore, if you were taking a picture of the board with all the props, at least you have a good excuse.
No, it's the whole sports book. We'll talk about it after
Oh, yeah,
the
they're
live
not going to
stream.
like it if you take a picture of all the chairs and, you might be getting people in the picture.
They don't want that, and they don't want the actual board. They don't want you to take a picture of the actual board and that. We'll talk about it after the live stream. I'll tell you what I was doing.
Okay.
But it wasn't just one casino. It was a couple casinos.
Okay. Heather the troublemaker.
Yeah, I'm a rebel. Okay, so what's next? We answered that. So the same person who asked the question about the crystal ball, he says, how about parking and resort fees? What do you think the future of parking and resort fees are? And do you think rising cost for the privilege of gambling in Vegas eventually will make it financially pointless for most future players to gamble in Vegas? It is getting pretty expensive.
Yeah, we already kind of touched on this, but I'm really against resort fees. I mean, I can kind of see the parking because the casino is providing a service to you, but the resort fees I just think are dishonest. If the room, say, costs $200 and the resort fee is $40, just tell me the room is $240. I just find it deceiving and dishonest.
For us, and this is just a quick observation, for us going from the mob days to corporate days, whereas corporate days should be less deceiving and have less. It doesn't seem like that's happening, does it? They're greedy and they're very deceitful, and that's a good example. The resort fees also changing all the tables from 6 to 5, or to 6 to 5, and then having no markings on the table saying which one it is. Like that's pretty shady.
You know, when I was younger, you know, I played with old timers a lot, and I heard the comment that Vegas was better in the old days before the corporate days. I mean, I have never heard anyone say it was better in the corporate days.
Yeah, and being born and raised here, I've had a lot of those conversations with people, and everybody that I've talked to has said exactly the same thing. The mob ran, it's so much better. The only thing about the mob is, if you screwed them over, well, expect to, you know, go take a trip in the desert. But other than that, they're good. They ran it pretty well.
Well, financially, though, I would say that the main reason it's so corporate today is the corporations ran the casinos better. Like Steve Wynn came in, and he did well. And Kirk Kerkorian, I think that these people are very well business-minded. So, yeah.
I half agree and half disagree, especially with Wynn, because of some of the stuff that people have alluded to about how he treated his employees. I'm not a big fan.
Okay. All right. Well, enough on that.
Okay. So we have 4 minutes left. Should we do one more?
We can go a little overtime since we were late.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'm not in a hurry today.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see if we could come up with a question off of here. By the way, if we missed your question, do apologize. You guys, sometimes it goes up further than we could see. So we got a good one here. James F., how did you two meet? That's a pretty fun one.
Yeah, it was Benny who introduced us.
Yeah, Benny was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I said something like, I want someone to help me with videos or maybe
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And so he introduced us.
Yeah.
And
Benny's
the rest
awesome.
has been history.
Yeah.
Yep. So, that's how we met.
Yep. That was cool. That was fun.
And we've had a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, okay, somebody asks about Kobe Bryant. It's nothing to do with gambling, but I Carumba says, how do you remember Kobe Bryant, a father of 4 girls and a big proponent for opportunities for women in sports, particularly his support for the WNBA, or an accused rapist who was arrested in 2003 but didn't go to trial because the criminal charges were dropped due to the alleged victim's unwillingness to testify? Silence encouraged perhaps by an undisclosed settlement. That's asked by I Carumba. So, I make no judgments if that accusation is true or false. It does happen that there could be something consensual happening with someone who's very rich, and then they get accused that it wasn't consensual later. I'm not saying, I'm sure sometimes the accusation is true and sometimes it's false. So I believe strongly in your innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I really don't know anything about the evidence in this particular accusation, so I take no stand. And, before he died, I really didn't, to be honest with you, know a great deal about him other than that he was one of the basketball players ever, and he played for the Lakers. Of course, I never knew the man. I will say that I will say that it was kind of sad that I think he was 41, and he was just starting his retirement, and he had probably such a great life ahead of him, and bam, it's gone. But I really feel sorry, not just for his daughter, but all the teenagers on that helicopter. I mean, yeah, it's sad too. That's who I feel the most sad for is the young teenagers.
They didn't get a chance to live.
Yeah. So.
And they were going to, what was it? One of their kids. It was a basketball game or something. It was a sports thing for one of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, do you have any thoughts on that?
Like I said before, I'm not a big sports person, so I didn't know him too well, except was he maybe on Space Jam? Okay, I have no idea then. So I didn't really follow too much, but the only thing I would say on that point is I think it's interesting how celebrity really colors people's view, you know? So we have a lot of celebrities here in America where they do bad stuff to people, and it's like people's public opinion of them don't really change. And a good example of that would be Michael Jackson. Everybody loved Michael Jackson, you know, but he wasn't exactly that great of a person, you know. So, and it's one of those very controversial things where you talk about that. You get some people really upset with you if you say anything bad about Michael Jackson, like anything at all. And I think it's just that celebrity. And it's very interesting when people get to that celebrity, they're allowed to do a lot more than most people.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think that's right. So anyway, enough about that. Questions or comments from the peanut gallery?
Let's see here. Oh. Okay. So many people think Bubba Craps is rigged. I disagree. No need, house edge, and giant conspiracy. Risk gaming license plus... Okay, that's not really...
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. In fact, was he quoting something I said?
I don't know. He might have been.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
There's so many conspiracy theories revolving around gambling, and no matter what the game is, people, you know, find some way to accuse it of cheating. But Bubba Craps is that game where you bet on terminals, and there's these big dice and under a dome, and they, you know, it kind of shakes for a while, and then someone presses the button, and they go pow, and they go up, and they hit the bottom, and they land. That looks completely fair to me. I really don't think anyone would be... I mean, I'm sure people talk about magnets and stuff, but there would be no reason to go through the fuss, as that comment said, to try to make a cheat when the game holds a healthy house advantage to begin with. And, you know, and when a new machine gets licensed in Nevada, the electricians at gaming tear it apart and look at every little thing, and they would notice if there were suspicious magnets or fans blowing air or whatever. So yeah, I completely reject the theory that that machine is cheating. And if anyone wants to make their case, I want to see numbers, I want to see evidence, I don't want to hear adjectives.
So what kind of evidence would they be able to show you?
Oh, just a bunch of adjectives.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. Whoever's calling me, hang up.
I would get that a lot when I was on roulette. I would have people be like mad at me because they thought I was hitting a magnet or a switch or something under the table to get certain numbers. And I'm like, dude, we don't care enough. Like, that ball's going to land wherever it lands. Like, we're not going to sit here and rig this. We don't care. You know? Like, it's not worth your $5. I'm sorry.
Yep. I agree 100%. Okay.
Do you want to do one more question, or should we call it a day?
Well, here's one thing. Like, as I've mentioned before, I was wandering around downtown before the show, and the Golden Gate is doing Super Bowl squares where you get to pick your square, as opposed to it being randomized. And they should have 400 bets because they have it for every quarter, and all 10 terminal digits for each team. So I love stuff like this. Here's all 400 lines. They kindly printed them out for me.
So you're going to sit there and try to choose?
Yes, well, no, I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to go home and analyze it.
No, choose. I said choose.
Well, I'll bet you that none of them hold an advantage, or maybe a few have slight ones.
How long would it take you to analyze this?
It's going to be kind of tedious to type in 400 numbers.
Oh, jeez.
But...
You need a data entry assistant.
Are you for sale as a data entry assistant?
I'm looking for an assistant myself. I have way too much to do.
Yeah. Did you know that I did data entry in 1989?
Cool.
So, well, yeah, I graduated from college in 1988. Right after the stock market had crashed, the economy was in the tanks. Nobody wanted to hire a college graduate with no useful experience, namely me.
Oh.
And so I found myself doing data entry for a window blind company in Westminster, California, and I hated that job. I hated it. And there were all these in the room. They had a huge room of young women like taking orders, and they were like, it was 100% women, and so many of them were so hot. But I was so depressed and felt so terrible about myself that I never got up the courage to talk to them. Yeah, boy, that was the period from mid 88 to mid 89 was, I would say, the worst time of my life.
Well, you weren't missing much besides the big hair and the bell bottoms. Or were the bell bottoms in the 70s?
Yeah, that's 70s.
But the big hair was in the 80s.
Well, certainly you had the so-called big hair bands of the 80s, mainly heavy metal.
Did you have big hair?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did grow my hair long, like in that period of time. I was so depressed I grew my hair long.
I think I saw a picture of that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Maybe I'll share it sometime. And I also had a mustache.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how I got off on that. Somebody mentioned data entry. So there's a little wizard confessional for you.
I love it.
So, all right, let's check. Let's see if there's any last good comments or questions.
Do you see anything you would like?
I see comments about dice influence. I'm sick of that topic.
How about this one?
I've seen at my local casino that the video poker payouts change depending upon the denomination on a multi-denomination machine. Yeah, that is common. Like, in general, as you go up in denomination, the return gets better. So that's normal.
So the more you play, the better it is.
The more you bet, the better it is.
The more you bet. Okay.
Okay, nothing is
popping out
at here. Okay, well, why don't we wrap it up? So thank you so much, audience, for coming and watching.
And when is the next time we could see you on a live stream?
Let's see. So I think 2 weeks.
So the 13th? Oh, that's right. That's the day before Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I should be available.
Okay. Day before Valentine's Day.
Yes, I will give my Valentine's Day rant.
What's your Valentine's Day rant?
I will give it the day before Valentine's Day.
Will you tell me after that?
I'll tell you after.
Oh,
but,
good. Okay, cool.
But sneak preview, I am very anti-Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yes.
Is it
all men are.
Is it the consumerism part of it?
Well, now I'm going to have to start my rant.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's save it for next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
In 2 weeks, not next week. In 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So,
2 weeks.
Heather, thank you so much for being my loyal assistant, as always.
Thank you for having me.
So, I wish the audience have fun with the Super Bowl. I don't like to say good luck, because I don't believe in luck. But, shall we say, I hope... Make good bets, and as long as you make good bets, more money will come back to you.
Break a leg.
Yeah, may the odds be with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. May the odds be ever in your favor.
I like that.
Okay, so thanks again, audience.
Thank you.
Until 2 weeks, bye.
See ya.